You know, in all the fanfare over Michelle Bachmann's announcement yesterday, one thing that wasn't in focus, remember, she has some elite Republican problems, too. Remember, she was shut out of the House leadership earlier this year. She was asked about it yesterday by the Christian Broadcasting Network's David Brody.
There are going to be people in the GOP establishment who don't want to see Michelle Bachmann as the nominee.
I think that people in the GOP establishment will be very happy with me as the nominee, because I will represent our party well, our nation well. I'm not a perfect person, but we do serve a wonderful people in our country.
Matthew Continetti is the associate editor of the Weekly Standard. Christina Bellantoni is an associate politics editor for CQ Roll Call, and Vaughn Ververs is no associate. He's politics editor for MSNBC.com. We had a lot of associates.
I'm outraged.
That's okay. That's okay. But Matthew, I will start with you. You've spent a lot of time with Bachmann. You wrote a very interesting piece a while back, and you talked about the gaffe issue. This has been an issue for her going in, and we just did this segment, and it was unbelievable. 26 statements, and she has gotten falses on more than half of them. She had this John Wayne thing, and they're little things. On a presidential campaign trail, they add up. Can she handle this?
I mean, it's something she needs to correct, there's no question, but I think in the larger scheme of things, it's not as big of a problem as we might make it out to be. I mean, the truth is, Republican caucus goers probably don't check PolitiFact.com every morning, and the truth is, what Bachmann is, even when she makes a gaffe, or when she goes a little bit over the top, she's in tune. She's making a gut connection with conservative grassroots voters, and they're the key to her winning Iowa and the nomination.
Yeah, Christina, explain this phenomenon about the fact that, look, let's remember, she's the only woman in the field. Sarah Palin's not running. I know a lot of people sometimes forget that in our business. But she is not running. Michelle Bachmann is. How much is this helping her?
Well, I don't know that it's necessarily helping, but I think anytime you can point to the mainstream media attacking you or going after, holding you accountable to facts, you can raise money, you can get some of that activist energy juiced up on your behalf. But I think it's also important, people don't really care about truth in advertising. I mean, when you look at all of the political ads that have helped fuel, every single election, right, people don't necessarily vote on whether they're true or not.
Vaughn, I was intrigued by this issue. So here was somebody rejected by the House Republican caucus to be in leadership, and it makes me think, did she always want to run for president, or did she get rejected because all those folks thought she was going to use it as a platform? And is this a problem at some point in this campaign?
Well, look, I mean, that all took place in the wake of the 2010 campaign, right after the Tea Party had taken out many establishment Republicans. They still have their eyes set on them, so there is a divide with the Tea Party. So they're not going to just invite someone like that just into the tent willy-nilly. Now, going back to some of the other things about Michelle Bachmann, I think what's been fascinating is how she's handled a lot of this, whether it was Chris Wallace asking her if she's a flake, or, some of the gaffes that she's had to respond to. I think if you make the Sarah Palin connection, Sarah Palin would be on Twitter or on Facebook,
very defensive,
talking about the lame. Michelle Bachmann has actually done a very good job of really handling it like a real politician would handle it. I think she's proved herself very well.
And she's also proven to be the first candidate to feel comfortable going on the attack. Tim Pawlenty wasn't comfortable going after Mitt Romney in that debate. She has. Take a listen to this about Michelle Bachmann on Mitt Romney and the life issue.
Governor Romney has stated that he's pro-life. I take him at his word, but he's had some issues with that in his past where he's taken various positions. This was a wonderful opportunity to sign the pledge and demonstrate that he's pro-life. He chose not to. I think that's troubling, and I think that he should have signed the pledge. You can get a lot of things wrong. One thing that you cannot get wrong is the issue of life.
Matthew, when I hear the phrase, I take him at his word, it sounds like, well, with all due respect, I think of Ricky Bobby. But that's her way of sending a message to Iowa caucus voters.
Bachmann has always been underestimated throughout her career. This is a woman who upset an establishment Republican state senator, a moderate Republican. She came into the state convention. She walked out with the nomination. Then they ran a primary. She defeated this guy who'd been there forever. She runs for Congress, competitive district, wins there. Democrats have always tried to gun her down since she was first elected in '06. She survived. She's not someone you underestimate.
And she's got a national fundraiser.
Democrats really like running against her. Don't forget that the DCCC last night, a few hours left before the June 30th deadline, they sent an email with the subject line, President Bachmann, ?
When we come back, we're going to talk Karl Rove and those new ads and Boehner versus Cantor. But trivia time, we asked how many Illinois governors have been subjected to arrest or indictment over the course of the state's history because there is a governor's suite apparently in prison there? Well, the answer is 6, folks. Leamington Small, William Stratton, Otto Kerner, Dan Walker, George Ryan, and now, of course, Rod Blagojevich. Now, on average, that's about 1 of every 7 governors in Illinois state history. Not all of them actually served time, but all of them came under some sort of conviction or indictment. We'll be right back with more from our panel.